So we got to react to Team USA, the USA game versus the France game. I mean, first of all, 19.5 million viewers across NBC and Peacock, the most watched gold medal game since Atlanta 96, which I think is very impressive. I mean, we talked about it a little bit beforehand. Steph Curry, 37, real pops vibes, real nuts on the table vibes from Steph Curry. I will say Wemby played a great game. I will say that Gerson Ebuseli played a great game. My semi-cold takeaway from this: the best players aren't in the NBA. And I know people that watch international ball, like they say, "Oh yeah, I've been saying that he stole my whole flow." Yeah, the best players aren't in the NBA. But what are some of y'all's reactions from the game? Closer than you thought. Just tell me some of the thoughts about the game, man.
My immediate takeaway was, boy, oh boy, in 2028, them French are gonna be dangerous. Oh, ooh, that was my first takeaway. They did that, and it took the grace of 3 elders to pull us through, and they will not be here in another 4 years. Shout out to the boys. But man, I remember going into this season after the whole FIBA situation, and then LeBron taking to Twitter, "Yo, we gonna put the team together." Everybody was joking. "Oh, we gonna need all the old men. Oh, why? We gonna need the older guys, man. These young dudes got it." Let me shut up. No, they do not. Man, we needed the 3 oldest guys on the team to perform and win gold. It would not have happened without LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Captain America Steph. It was insane. Those are my biggest takeaways.
We're actually going to touch on that a little bit more later on. But go ahead, Sage.
Oh yeah, I already know what that topic is going to be. It's actually a topic I'm excited to talk about. I'm not gonna lie. My takeaway was the same thing that I had from the beginning of the Olympics. One, this is something that American basketball needed. Many people caring about it, and then especially just seeing LeBron, KD, and Curry, man. Like, no Diddy, no glaze, no aura. Oh, my body. It was just like, yo. Everyone would say this about their generation, but I truly am just like one of the moments where I'm just happy as shit. Like, this was the generation of basketball that I was like in my prime watching. From Kobe directly to Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Steph Curry, all in their prime playing basketball. Now, I know we have these other debates. We're going to dunk on KD for not getting it done alone, or Curry missing clutch shot or whatever, or LeBron missing clutch shots or whatever. But just like in all actuality and all reality of it, bro, we seen prime KD, prime Curry, and prime LeBron, and they're still good now. It was just like, I'm just grateful for like the basketball that I've watched over the years. That's my main takeaway.
For me, Steve Kerr's still a hoe.
Oh my God.
And I think in the future, though, I think we will look back from 2008 to 2024 as an era of Olympic basketball that we truly took for granted. Because I'm looking at the landscape of what American talent is going to be in the future. It's still bright, but I feel like what's made these ever since '08, these runs special is that every single team outside of 16 and the Tokyo one, but that was a little bit different because of COVID and everything, has had like 3 top 20 all-time talents on the same team. I think after this year, it's going to be really hard to pull off a feat like that for Team USA. Just thinking about who's coming up in the pipeline, the chances of a Team USA to have 3, because that's what Curry, Bron, and KD are. And you can argue top 15. 3 top 15, top 20 players all time. Not even in their prime, just period. Even if that were to happen, it's going to be 20, 24 years, I feel like. I don't know, because it's going to take a while for these careers to develop. But looking at the pipeline, too, I don't think any of these American dudes are gunning for that top 20 slot for real.
You never know.
I mean, I gotta agree, and it's something that, and I get what you're saying, Damo. You never know, but it's something that we've been talking about for so long. Is just who is the next guy, and it just really has not appeared. I think this year, more than any other year, and even a little bit of last year, has just shown that a lot of these guys that people have been banking on, throwing their dollars at, throwing their eyes at, are just not there yet. They don't look like they're ready to take the mantle. I do think, you don't look too much into Olympic basketball ish, kind of. We'll talk about that a little bit later too. But the biggest takeaway from that is you need an adult. Every time we do it, the little tier list, we should have I need an adult tier, and we need an adult. My biggest takeaway was the babies aren't ready. Anthony Edwards is not ready. Jayson Tatum is not ready. He got his petty minutes, his pooey minutes, his here nigga damn minutes, and he didn't do anything with those minutes. In fact, he looked very uncomfortable. Now, somebody might say, "Oh, he wasn't playing the whole time, so just throwing him in there." Yeah, he just didn't look good. I'm not here to make excuses. Anthony Edwards also did not look good. Anthony Edwards is so single track minded. He reminded me of the dude that I was playing pickup with today. So sometimes you just need an adult to make the smart play, the right play, to not turn the ball over. Hell, same thing happened on the women's side. They had not had that many turnovers in all the games, and then they decided to have like 12 or 13 in the first half or something like that. Like, just not doing adult things with the basketball. Mm-hmm. And I just don't see in the next couple years adults being there to do the adult things with the basketball.
Can I say, did Devin Booker not kind of, I don't want to say solidify himself, but I know we're talking about the younger, the big three in terms of the older guys, but the fact that Devin Booker was able to be playable and be that guy that was in there with them, does that not speak to maybe him being the guy that's a dark horse to take that mantle in the next 4 years for the United States guys?
As the adult? Or
not even as the adult, but to be probably the guy that we trust to be the best American player for the time being. Because I felt like walking away from
scary.
I feel like this is a scary. It seems scary because of how you think of Devin Booker, but again, does this not maybe solidify that maybe he is for real? Because I found it impressive that with the guys that they did have, Devin Booker was the one that was on the court finishing these games with them.
Well, Devin Booker, Devin Booker by calendar year is 28. He's 27 going on 28. So if he would have been that, I think we would have seen a little bit more of that. Now, I think out of the young guys, because he is 28. Wait, I'm young though. Hold on now. Not too much on me. Out of the young guys, I think Devin Booker is one of the more mature people. And I think that is, we had the argument when we were doing the shooting guard rankings. That's why I have to pump the brakes on saying, whoa, Anthony Edwards is just so much better. It's a little too soon to be crowning the king, but I think Devin Booker is that guy. I thought Devin Booker was more mature regardless, like when he played with CP3 and was able to just slide right in. Mm-hmm. Like I've been thought those things about Devin Booker. But to me, for him to be to take that next step, I think we would have already seen some of that stuff already. So no, I'm not confident in that.
I don't know about Devin Booker. Yeah, I don't know about Devin Booker's ceiling of being like the face of the NBA anymore. But I do think when we are having conversations about the next generation being in deep trouble in terms of having a face of the NBA, yeah, absolutely. When we've already talked about, at the end of the day, I understand polarity or what's the fucking term? I cannot think of it. Parity. When parity's good, yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, you need a guy in a lot of businesses. We've had that discussion. We've agreed and disagreed. But when we're talking about like Team USA potentially, or like the future Team USA's, that's where I think, all right, now I get it. But again, one, is going to be another 4 years. And two, we are acting like most of these guys' careers are done. I understand Anthony Edwards. Granted, 2 months ago, we were saying, in 2 months, you're going to slander the guy. But 2 months later, now we're slandering him. And all reality is, his career, he can become way better in a lot of different aspects, or just be a more efficient version of what he is today. One of the two are bound to happen. A guy like Tyrese Halliburton can become a better player. A guy like Jayson Tatum, I don't think has this leap left like a lot of people have, but Tatum can definitely be a more efficient version of himself. And if that happens, he's, in my opinion, an infinitely better player, because his biggest issue to me is his efficiency. I think there's several players that aren't necessarily, that are new to the spotlight, that could become a him or whatever the fuck. Like Jalen Brunson, for example. There were people that debate Jalen Brunson and Curry today. Now, I still have Curry. I always thought Curry was better. But people will look you in the eye and say Jalen Brunson is better, or at least had a better season. And if he's able to have a better season than Stephen Curry, if he continues to get better or learn how to adjust to this star player role, again, I think that we're going a little too far. I think guys like Paolo Banchero are going to be great players. They're just getting into the league. I think we're fine. Now, overall face, LeBron James, Curry, Jordan, Kobe kind of guy. Oh, yeah, that might be cooked because y'all are literally screaming for parity.
I think that that's what B Souls is saying. I think that's what a lot of people are resonating with, is that when we've rolled out these teams, there has been a guy that's going to push top player categories, like top player all time categories. And you saw that even in 2004, it wasn't the best team in the world, but Tim Duncan was out there. And then there were some pretty Allen Iverson. There were some pretty lofty projections about some of the younger guys, but specifically LeBron James. And I would argue that was probably Team USA at its quote unquote worst. But every other time there's been some of the top guys. I just don't see any of these new guys pushing top guy status. And I think that we have, and I know that might sound crazy, I think we have enough sample size to say that.
Especially as the world gets better too. So
well, that's the thing. If we're talking about top guy in parity and all these things, even like xenophobia, that may just be by design then. Because, for example, if Luka Doncic ends up being what I think a lot of us, if not all of us, believe he could be, then I mean, yeah, but that's not because anything wrong with the NBA or even Team USA's talent. Nigga, it's just Luka's era. Like at the end of the day, nigga, Luka just started running shit. Or if Jokic starts winning them, things like that. So, but then that would kind of eliminate the face of the NBA issue, right? Because Luka would be the face of the NBA. He's just not the face of Team USA. So it depends what exactly we're talking about, in my opinion.
I feel like going forward now, because the rest of the world is catching up in terms of creating these star players in the NBA, yeah, Team USA might not be filled with guys who are top 5 in the league. Well, it's still going to be top 5 guys, but
yeah, top 5.
Yeah. Filled with guys that are top 5 in the league. But I'm still hesitant to say everyone's catching up. I think more countries will produce a star player or a guy that's deemed a star in the NBA, but it's still going to be one of them on the team. And then the rest, you might have a couple of NBA role players, maybe.
Now that I agree.
But,
I think
and it's select teams that's catching up. Like France is catching up. Germany might be catching up going forward, depending on how many more German guys come into the league. Canada is catching up, but everybody's not catching up. Zimbabwe not catching up. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, not every team, not every country, but still,
I feel like the depth of the USA team is still going to be crazy. Yeah, so we might not have a Captain USA, Mr. USA for basketball, but we still going to have 1 through 11 All-Stars. Like we're still going to have that. That's not changing.
But well, besides, what were you going to say?
I was just going to ask. Well, they agree with it anyways. Whatchamacallit. Do y'all think? Well, I don't know if y'all agree on this. Do y'all think in 2028 the Team USA we're going to put together, if you just had to put a pin on it right now, is going to be better or worse than the team we just had?
I would always bet worse. I think, to be fair, I think this is a GOAT tier team. I think people ain't ready to pull the trigger yet because 2012's efficiency, Redeem Team, and Dream Team, maybe the Avengers name sticks, right? But this is easily for me a top 3 all timer. The only reason I didn't jump to it in the Souls and Sage video that we did, Bezos, is because it didn't win yet. So if they had lost to Slovenia, they had lost to Serbia, if they had lost to France, oh yeah, well they can't be. But this is easily in the 3. I mean, it consists of LeBron, Curry, and KD. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's LeBron, Curry, and KD. Goddamn.
It's gonna be real hard for that 2018 to be better than this. And do I see that happening now? No. But again, we have 4 years. I don't know what's about to happen in 4 years. I don't know what player is about to just take this leap, this step. I don't know. So I'll never write it off because who knows who could end up stepping into that top 20 mantle. Like if I understand, I said Devin Booker and I understand he's 28, but if a 30-year-old Devin Booker is where he just becomes the enlightened one and it just the game makes sense, I'm sorry. That nigga's gonna be crazy. Like that's gonna be crazy.
But even then, I think like in the question, I think you would have to say no, only because of the improbability. Because we're talking about, I know people are gonna hate, but I'm gonna just say this: Kevin Durant is like a top 15 talent of all time in the NBA. I'm gonna just put them all at top 15 besides LeBron James. Like Kevin Durant is like a top 15 dude. Steph Curry is like a top 15 dude. LeBron James is the top 3 dude, just to respect everybody else or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
To think in 2028 that we're gonna get 3 top 15 level talents on a roster, I think is like crazy. Like to think that 3 people. I know you said Devin Booker, and matter of fact, we'll pull this up because we skipped a little bit. They have projections for the 2028 team, and we're going to do some predicting ourselves on this channel. We got for the guards, Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham. For the forwards, we have Jason Tatum, Zion Williamson, Paolo Banchero, J-Dub, Cooper Flag. For the bigs, we have Bam Adebayo, Chet Holmgren. I think another thing that also hinders this is like, do we even think that those are some of the best players at the position to be put in there?
Yeah. First thing that's alarming, and this will be a main talking point. If we're talking about LeBron and KD and Curry leaving, the issue is how is AD going to be in 2028? Because that big man position, I'm not saying Chet in 4 years ain't going to be him, but if Embiid's not here for us, I think that's a little obtuse to act as if there's not a fall off at the big man position, considering you're losing Joel Embiid, you're losing Anthony Davis, and you're replacing it with like Chet or another big that could potentially rise up and be great. Hopefully better than AD, but then Joel Embiid, I mean, you're banking on that too. So absolutely.
My ultimate point is that whatchamacallit, that game they had against Serbia, they could not get away with that shit in 2028. That's my ultimate point. So yeah, there's not gonna be a Steph Curry, KD, and Bron just to go crazy like that, coming back from 17 on a single elimination game.
The reason why and none of us have touched upon it as I'm looking at this, and we're gonna start the projections real soon, sorry. But the reason why we're having this conversation even is it's not like people wholeheartedly think LeBron, KD, and Curry are the top 3 players today in terms of pure ability and talent, or even American players in terms of pure ability and talent. There are people look you and I say SGA better than all 3 of them, right? It's just SGA is not part of that shit, so fuck. But you get what I'm saying? Like it's other names. Some people argue JB over Curry. Some people argue, well, you ain't arguing shit over fucking KD and Bron. You're kind of delulu. So maybe that kind of waters down my point a bit. But even if you think there's other American talent here, it's the intangibles that come with them. And I know that sounds Mickey to 99% of people, but it's the experience of, hey, we've been here before. You niggas crashing the fuck out. I got it. Like Omar's main complaints with Ant. Yeah, Omar's main complaints with Ant is crashing out. So I think in 4 years, as Damo was alluding to with D-Book or Ant or Ja or really anybody here, if they get that poise, moxie experience in the postseason, or just 4 more years in the league does that for a guy entering his 30s. I don't know if it'll be as big as an issue as we know now, but it's obviously going to sound crazy to say, oh, no, we're going to be as good as 2024. I think 2024 is an all-timer.
I can agree there. And Sage, that is my point. In the next 4 years, if we're going to act like Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, even if, I mean, I think he's going to say no based off how he was treated this year, but even a Jason Tatum in 4 years of maturity for their games and how they play, if we don't think that in 4 years, on top of the young talent, that just off that roster alone, those guys will be able to be the adults in a room for that team, I don't know, Brandon. I think we're just thinking real light of the American players. Like, I get it. It's still a difference. I can acknowledge a difference. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as a drop-off as people will make it seem. I don't think the drop-off is going to be drastic. It's going to be
let's look at this right here with the guards. Like I said, Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham. First things to me that jump off, Tyrese Halliburton was there. I don't know why he wouldn't be back. And that's me being who I am. And I think y'all know how I necessarily feel about Tyrese. It doesn't make sense to me. Second of all, God, you got to be expecting some leaps and bounds from Cade. This is another thing that's so weird about the USA basketball thing. Are we going to continue to disrespect certain players? Because respectfully, I'd much rather see Trae Young than Cade Cunningham on this team.
Brunson not.
Yeah, so let me say the guard spot is going to be eternally debatable. You name 2 guards where a motherfucker like Damo may correctly look you now and say, yo, Cade gonna be better than both in 4 years. So it's like, but even not just Cade, like the argument of like, yo, who goes there? Trae Young or D Mitch. And if Tyrese gets that spot back. So guard is going to be hell. I think we're locked at guard regardless. Jaylen Brown's not there, but then I don't think either Celtics.
Let me just make my and then none of the I think both Drew and Derek. I don't know how old is Derek White. Derek White ain't that old, ain't he?
Like
20.
30?
Crazy.
29,
But Drew,
I think.
Drew's already older. I don't.
Yeah,
think
Drew's done. Drew done.
Drew's done.
Drew's done.
Derek White is 30. So at 34, I mean, I don't know. I'm not.
I don't know how impactful he'll be, but that's still an adult in the room.
Yeah, I'm not out on Derek White, but I'm just saying I don't know. My thing about Trae would be elite spacing, lob threats, left, right, and sideways. That's just play style. Also, I think he would be more of an adult than some of these other people that we've seen, but that's just me. We can go on to the forwards.
I'm not mad at Trae Young at all, by the way. I don't want this to come on. I'm not mad at Trae Young. I would just say rather than Cade, I would rather see Trae Young. If there is a Trae Young, then take off Ja, or in my opinion, Ja or D Mitch.
And that's what I was going to ask before we move on to forwards. Are we just locked on the three to the left? Because we brought up D Mitch and Cade and Trae and Reese. Are the three to the left locked, or are we talking about getting Ja out?
And they're all starting too.
Yep, I agree.
I am locked on Devin Booker, and I'm half locked on Anthony Edwards, like maybe 3/4 lock.
But
maybe
Ja,
3/4 lock.
You're not locked. You can see
not
Ja
even
getting
close.
snubbed.
Not even close.
I'm not locked on Ja. I'm not locked on D Mitch. Cade. I'm not locked on Cade, but again, if it's for Trae Young, I would rather Ja or D Mitch get the clip than Cade.
Yeah, really, there's only two guards that I'm.
I think it's very fair to say Ann and D Book have proven the most. I believe in Ja's talent to say that he should be a lock in 4 years. I think Ja's going to be fantastic because his game is just chaotic. But I can hear the argument because it hasn't been proven. I think we all agree on Ann and D Book.
There isn't a forward that I'm locked on either, to be honest with you.
Really? If Tatum wanted to play,
is that Zion next to Tatum?
Tatum, Zion, Paolo, J-Dub, and Cooper Flag.
If Tatum wants to play, he's a locked. If not, obviously.
I ain't gonna lie. The only locks is Tatum and Paolo, in my opinion. I don't know how Cooper Flag's gonna be. He's not even in the NBA yet. J-Dub, I think he's a 2. So I'm not gonna lie. He's a stocky 2. But I'm not locked on J-Dub. I'll have to see it. I like his game, but I would have to see it. And I genuinely don't think Thickums is going to be there. So I don't think Zion is an option. In 4 more years, I don't think Zion's not even an option. So we're Jaylen Brown, hopefully, who will try to double back. And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But the only problem is because of how they did Jaylen Brown. But if we're just making this based off of pure talent, yeah, Jaylen Brown would be my guy, but I can't, based off of what happened.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be the guy.
Is the question just in terms of the adult conversation? Are we going to have adults, or the adults going to be like adult enough, if that makes sense? Because I feel like this year, like Embiid's already 30, right, and AD's already 30. Not to say that they're not like mature or anything, but compare that to like who LeBron, KD, and Steph are as adults for Team USA. I don't think.
Respectfully, your adult comes from the ball handling position.
Does it?
I think so.
I think it varies and it depends on the team. I think for a team like this, replace Zion with Anthony Davis, who's going to be 34, and I think he'll still be impactful. Obviously not as impactful, but just the defensive presence, defensive awareness, and to be the tenured big that he is, he would be important regardless. And then, a guard. I will say I'm with Omar. You do need an adult with the guards or someone with the ability to just come in and settle things down. Right now, looking at it, you will hope Devin Booker turns into that. You will hope Donovan Mitchell turns into that. But
and let me elaborate. Let me elaborate on that. Sorry to interrupt you, Damo. The reason why I say that is because of FIBA plays aggression can rattle somebody so quickly, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody who hasn't been there, somebody who already has a turbo mind. That's why I'm really not necessarily like locked on Ja. Somebody that already has a turbo mindset, somebody that's already not looking to be a playmaker. One of these guys is gonna have to be passed first, right? Somebody out of and that's another reason why I'm like, I'm not really sold on all the guards. One of them is just gonna have to say, you know what, my job is going to be come in, facilitate things, slow the game down, not get caught up in all the bumping and all this stuff like that. When everybody's not happy with their shots or whatever, so just to settle it down. And I see 1, 2, 3, and Cade is question mark. I see about 3 score for really like 4, but 3 score first guards off top.
That should
And
be Reese
Ja.
though, but I feel
And yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna talk about schematics. I was gonna say 2 names that are potentially stinky, but if we need people to play some defense, look, man. And I'm not saying
Caruso.
this is what I'm doing. Oh, Caruso, hey, shit. I'm not saying this is what I'm doing, but I'm just re-entering Derek White in the conversation. I would say, how bad do we need a guy like a Triple J, maybe? Even though the last time we seen him, oof. Like how desperate are we in terms of that, or do we just go out there with the 2012 approach where, hey man, we gonna put the ball in the fucking net? Because I think that's what we're gonna have to do. I think
Sage, if we need a guard, listen, maybe I'm being nasty.
I wasn't talking about it. Oh wait, oh no.
Hey, if that new knee tendon is looking good,
Oh no.
give me Lonzo Ball, man.
Ah,
Why is Lonzo not
All right.
dancing?
All
Why
right,
is Lonzo
can we
be the
At least I
facilitator,
said
be
it
the
didn't
Austin
be
Reeves is
OI,
good in the World
man.
Cup,
I
man.
thought I was nasty.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
What about
Why not
Suggs at
that
that
boy Ball,
point?
man?
Why not Suggs?
we can move on. We can move on. Please, for the
Suggs
love.
isn't a bad answer.
I'm about to say at that point, go
Well,
Suggs.
why not Lonzo?